Wow, that was just great. Welcome, everyone, to the Riverkeeper Virtual Fisherman's Ball. And an unbelievable amount of thanks to jazz greats John Scofield and Larry Grenadier for kicking off the event. I was involved a little bit in trying to find a music talent for the live event. And then Lindy, who is one of the magic people who works at Riverkeeper, somehow got John and Larry, and it's just my jaw dropped when I heard that they were there. What a great performance. Thank them so much. All right, you're going to hear more of their great compilation of river-themed music later this evening. Before we get started, just a bit of housekeeping here. First of all, if I make a dumb joke, I'm going to assume that you're laughing because I can't necessarily hear you. And if I say something great, I'll assume you're clapping. So feel free to laugh and clap, but it doesn't matter because I'll assume you're doing it anyway. But please take a minute to click around and explore the event site if you haven't already. There are all kinds of links on the left-hand side of your screen. So donation, auction, and Riverkeeper merchandise sites will open a new window on your computer. Please visit them often. There's a Riverkeeper and Hudson trivia quiz, and there's going to be prizes associated with that too. You can check out the different issue-based chat rooms, which will open later in the evening, and there's a help desk for anyone that has problems with the computer, not with things in your life and things like that. All right, many of you have already connected with friends and other guests. You can see who's here. You can click the second link and send messages to anyone you want. All right, now, on to the show. I want to begin by congratulating the Riverkeeper team on a great year amid really tremendous adversity, and also for the clever theme of tonight's fundraiser, which works on so many levels. Hudson River Rising follows on perfectly from last year's theme of the living river. Last year, we celebrated the vibrancy of the river, its flora and its fauna, and the living communities that are dedicated to the river's preservation. This year, we're going to focus on the rising challenges to the river, from rising water levels, from climate change, and from still high pollution levels, and a rising set of challenges really across the environmental spectrum. But we also honor and celebrate the people and the communities rising up to face those challenges. And our awesome program tonight is going to reflect that. Let me give you a quick rundown. We are unbelievably proud to honor Rob Bilott for his legendary, decades-long legal battles for clean water with the Big Fish Award. He'll get that tonight. We're thrilled, of course, that Mark Ruffalo is on hand to present the award to Rob. I'm thrilled that I get to introduce Mark. Mark has been a clean water activist for many years. He plays Rob in the film Dark Waters, which came out last year. Run, don't walk to go see that, which I guess you'll probably see at home, but you know what I mean. We'll be presenting the Hudson Hero Award to the Newburgh Clean Water Project. They're a community-based group of local advocates battling the contamination of their drinking water in the city of Newburgh, and there are some parallels to the movie Dark Waters right there. On a personal note, I want to mention that working with Riverkeeper President Paul Gallay, we formed an ad hoc committee focused on fisheries this year. Together with John Lipscomb and George Jackman, the group aims to foster greater biodiversity in the river and educate the public about ethical fishing practices and working to sustain a better managed recreational fishery. These are early days for this committee, and please contact us if you'd like to join and help out. But we can note two notable successes from Riverkeeper in this area this year. We helped with other groups push through new limits on striped bass that's hopefully going to return stocks to the previous levels, maybe not of abundancy, but certainly some of the previous levels where there were more fish in our river and in the ocean. And we lobbied successfully with others for better management of stocks of menhaden. This is the base of so much of the aquatic food chain. If you're one of the lucky people who've seen whales off of the coast of Long Island, even up the Hudson River, they're coming after that menhaden. So more menhaden means more whales and other aquatic mammal species. When we talk about rising in this case, we mean rising up to the challenge to see our aquatic marine life rising, a challenge Riverkeeper took on this year and hope to achieve real results. You're going to have a chance to discuss these issues with me and George Jackman in one of the chat rooms after the award ceremonies. And there'll be other topics of great interest in other issue-based chat rooms, such as coastal resilience, Riverkeeper's water quality work, which is so important, and Tales from the Boat Patrol. If you haven't heard John Lipscomb talk, you've been missing out on life, and you need to go hear him speak. He's an incredibly inspiring guy who works so hard for Riverkeeper. After the award ceremonies, we'll open up the issue-based chat rooms, and you will be able to say hi to our staff, board members, and special guests, ask questions, and network as well. All right, one final word. There's an awful lot going on in the world, an election, a virus, and a whole lot of need and a whole lot of craziness, but the earth is talking to us. There are 5 storms in the Atlantic. Fires are raging in the west, and the river continues to roll quietly and majestically, but needing our help now more than ever. We ask that amid all the demands you may have, you give as generously as you can tonight to be part of the community rising up to help the Hudson. And now we're going to get a first look at John Bowermaster's new film, Hudson River Rising. In the film, John will explore the hopeful movement of shoreline communities rising up to address the challenges to clean water and a healthy environment as sea level and the river itself rises up. Let's get started with Hudson River Rising.
Our theme this year for the Fisherman's Ball is Hudson River Rising, and it's really a two-part theme. The issues of climate change are going to get worse and worse. Weather's going to get more extreme. Just in the next 30 years, we're going to have as much as 20 inches of sea level rise. The theme of Hudson River Rising is also about the work being done in communities up and down the river to deal with our environmental threats and to harness the opportunities that we have. We see communities rising up in record numbers. 125 different partner organizations. And that number is only going to grow. We're in communities up and down the Hudson, making sure that those communities have the control of their destiny when it comes to safe drinking water. Riverkeeper means to meet the challenge. And the challenge is people want us to continue to fight for a healthy Hudson and to harness the opportunities to make their community safer, more vibrant, more environmentally healthy, and to develop that relationship with the river that's going to also benefit true recovery of community and river together.
I learn at least one new thing every time I come down here, and I get a greater sense of a connection with the river. The bacteria that we are measuring is called Enterococcus. It's a fecal indicator. Basically, it's found in the colon of virtually all animals, even insects. People will say, oh, the water's filthy, but with these numbers specifically and with the specific bacteria, we can prove to them that it's swimmable.
This afternoon, I've seen people fishing and, making use of the river recreationally, but for all that recreation to take place, you need a healthy ecosystem. Water quality is your quality of life, too.
In the spring of 2016, we very suddenly discovered, as citizens of this community within the city they had known for a little while longer, that the water that we had been drinking for over 30 years, for those who had been living here this long, was contaminated. It was pretty quickly ascertained by the DEC that the pollution was coming from the Stewart Air National Guard base. Over 4 years since the crisis was called, and there's no change. The age of waiting for someone bigger and better to fix the problem is over. This is a necessary part of democracy.
Flushing Creek is another tributary in New York City, similar to Newtown Creek, the Gowanus Canal. And it would be a great place for things like kayaking and boating. But again, the plans that developers have now for privately owned and publicly owned land on both sides of Flushing Creek don't allow for anything like that and include no waterfront touch points or places to get down to the water. So here, pointing out that we could have a beach and that people could be hanging out on the beach is kind of the irony. When I was growing up in Flushing, I actually had no idea there was a river. I was super confused why there were seagulls around. But now as we talk more about land use and development in downtown Flushing and Willett's Point, again, the river becomes the centerpiece of all these conversations because it's literally in between these massive development sites.
Interesting thing about activism is the more people use these waterways as a resource for their recreational resource, educational resource, the more people are interested in protecting it. That's how environmental stewardship really works. People have to care about the natural resource before they can actually start to do things to protect it. So it's a positive feedback loop. Now you put people out here, make them understand how great this is. They're going to go back and want to do something about it, and they bring in more people, and it just keeps multiplying.
The best example of the community rising up to help the river happened back in 2016 and 2017. The tug and barge industry and the commercial shipping interests wanted to have a whole bunch of designated anchorages where they could moor vessels. And they petitioned the Coast Guard to designate 10 anchorage grounds with 43 stations or berths for big, big vessels. And they specifically said, we're doing it because we want to support the increase in crude oil transport. What happened was an amazing event. By the end of that 2016, over 10,000 comments have been submitted to the Coast Guard. Some of those comments were represented by people who represent 100 people or a village. We did the math internally, and that 10,000 comments was representing over 1 million voices. The Coast Guard had never, ever seen anything like that in the history of the Coast Guard on any issue. For me, it gave me a great deal of hope. It said that, unlike any time in the past, if you appeal to the general public and you do a good job of communicating for the river, which is our job, speaking for the river, the public now is a different public than there's ever been. And the public will come out to defend this river. And that is the hope for a better future.
Hello, everyone. I'm Riverkeeper President Paul Gallet, and I'm so glad to be together with you, after a fashion anyway, at the 2020 Fisherman's Ball. There's been a truly amazing turnout for this event, over 460 people, and I thank you all for your support, which is how we keep Riverkeeper on the water, in the courtroom, in our communities to protect the Hudson and your drinking water. Thanks as well to our host, Steve Liesman, for that wonderful welcome. Steve and our board chair, Ernest Tollerson, and their fellow directors have all been there for us throughout the pandemic, and we're so grateful to them. And we're equally grateful to our advisory board, led by Jan Wysocki, our Young Advocates Council, led by Torin Kutnick, our Corporate Stewardship Council, chaired by Marjorie Lang, and our Leadership Council members, including John Bowermaster, who made tonight's extraordinary opening film. And then there's the team that's actually out there on the water, in the courtroom, in our communities, the legendary Riverkeeper staff who have kept the flame burning throughout this uniquely difficult year. Please give everyone on Riverkeeper staff and volunteer leadership teams a big virtual cheer for what they've done to help protect the Hudson and our communities. Next, I want to welcome and salute Riverkeeper's extraordinary government, Green Group, and frontline partners. It's a pleasure to work with you all, and we thank you for your leadership, from the commissioners right on down to the folks who are out there in communities, keeping them honest, keeping them doing the great work that we see day in, day out here in New York in the fight for clean water. Finally, I want to recognize everyone with family or friends or coworkers suffering from or even taken from them by the COVID pandemic, as well as those whose livelihoods or communities have been upended since this brutal year began. We are keeping you all in our hearts tonight. Alas, we're all part of another sort of struggle right now as well. After the horrific death of George Floyd, Riverkeeper reached out to you all with a message that we strive to base our work and our relationships on trust, respect, integrity, and justice. And we believe that a world in which people and nature thrive alongside one another is impossible unless we are all free from violence and racism. We added that we are not the experts here, but we have undertaken a number of projects and initiatives in Newburgh, Troy, Poughkeepsie, NYC, and elsewhere, designed to make Riverkeeper a more diverse, inclusive, equitable, and just organization. And you'll find that commitment right at the center of our newly adopted strategic vision and core values. It's a little hard to read, I realize, but it's in the program as well. And so I encourage you to familiarize yourself with who we are and what we're looking to see as we go through from the present into the future. So thinking about the past for a moment, since our last Riverkeeper Fisherman's Ball in May 2019, Riverkeeper has recorded some pretty big wins. We helped defeat a ruinous plan to erect giant barriers across the mouth of the Hudson, which would have done catastrophic harm to the river while still leaving our communities vulnerable to climate change and flooding. This victory frees us up to mobilize for safer, saner, more effective coastal protection from climate disruption of the sort that sadly we're seeing yet again just today in the Gulf, where so many are now at risk, including our wonderful friend and the creator of our Big Fish Award, Bruce Larson. As Steve has already mentioned, we won vastly expanded protection for the menhaden, which is often called the most important fish in the sea because of those whales, dolphins, striped bass, eagles, and the other species that depend on them for food. Now, thanks to a unanimous binding vote by all 15 of the Atlantic seaboard states, those whales and dolphins and others, they get first dibs on the menhaden. And the industrial fishing fleet that shamelessly, illegally overfished them for years goes to the back of the line. Finally, Indian Point Reactor number 2 shut down right on time this past April under the closure agreement Riverkeeper helped to engineer in 2017 with the state of New York and the operator Entergy. And reactor number 3, the last in operation at Indian Point, will shut down in just over 6 more months. So by the time we hold our next Fisherman's Ball, this coming May 5th, These aging and increasingly fragile and dangerous reactors will no longer threaten the 20 million of us who live in the New York metro area, and over 1 billion fish and other river creatures will be saved from destruction in the bowels of that plant next year and in each and every year to come. Now, the event you're part of tonight, the Fisherman's Ball, is how we assure that Riverkeeper stays strong and wins more such victories. So, in addition to honoring some very special people, we're looking to raise at least $60,000 during tonight's event, and we're off to a good start towards that. Thank you. Please help us stay strong by bidding on some of the items available in our online auction. Or if you click on item 1 at the auction page, you can also make a straight out donation to fund our water quality testing, our enforcement work, our patrols, and all of our other initiatives. Thank you for whatever support you can provide. We literally cannot do this work without you. Before we begin the awards section of the program, we've got a special video to help you get to know some of the staff better and see some of the places where they work. So please raise your wine glasses, your beer mugs, or whatever else comes to hand, and join the awesome Riverkeeper staff in a toast to the mighty Hudson.
Here's to biodiverse rivers, clean water, and to Riverkeeper's partners, supporters, and volunteers who make this work not only possible, but a joy to do. Cheers.
Hey, it's Mike from the New York City team, filming for my local CSO. Thanks so much to everyone who's fighting so hard to keep our waters safe for recreation, healthy for fish, and clean for drinking. Cheers. Keep on protecting one another and fighting for what's right.
Cheers to water quality and the community scientists who help us measure it.
Cheers to clean water for all.
Happy Fisherman's Ball. I hope you all have a lovely night. Be sure to check out our auction, all in support of clean water. Bid on great items and amazing experiences in NYC, the Hudson Valley, and beyond. Bidding closes tonight at 9 p.m. sharp. Cheers to clean water.
Here's to healthy ecosystems and clean drinking water. Thanks for your assistance over the year in protecting this great watershed.
Cheers to our founders.
Hi everyone, I'm here at my favorite, currently dried up vernal pond. Cheers to you. Your passion and dedication to clean water keeps me charged and inspires me every day.
I want to thank everyone for their support this year, and I look forward to a great year ahead for Riverkeeper. Cheers.
Cheers to Riverkeeper members.
Here's to clean water, healthy communities, a Hudson River teeming with life, and good health and happiness to you and yours.
Coming to you from Troy, New York, thanks to our water quality scientists and our community partners. Hope to see you soon. Have a great time at the gala.
Cheers to one day having a poop-free water quality sample. Boy, that's good.
Here's to you, Riverkeeper friends and Riverkeeper family, and to the living river. Cheers.
Take 28. Cheers. Hi, everyone. This is George. Cheers to, free-flowing creeks, healthy ecosystems, robust fish populations, and clean, fresh drinking water for everyone. That was good, right? But the real reason I brought you here is to see those menhaden in the water all behind me. You see them? We need robust fish populations, and we need forage fishes in high abundances. They are the foundations of our food web, and cheers to them.
Here's to you, our incredible supporters. The river would not be the same without you. Thank you.
This is Victoria. Cheers to clean water for all from the Harlem River.
So here's to our river, our big, beautiful, beautiful river.
Thank you for everything you do to protect and restore this beautiful Hudson River. Cheers.
Cheers to the Hudson River.
Cheers to NYC, to no more poop in the river someday, and to the entire Riverkeeper team. I'm so grateful for you.
Here's to cleaning up Superfund sites, building strong, resilient waterfront communities, and fighting with all of you for a just and equitable future where everyone has access to clean water. Cheers.
Cheers from the Troy waterfront, where we've been measuring water quality now since 2008. What's in your bottle?
Cheers to the Hudson River, the people that make beer from the water of the Hudson River, and all those that work to keep the river safe and healthy. Cheers.
Thanks to everyone for all their support. Here's to water, to science, and to life. Cheers.
To Riverkeeper, defending the Hudson for another 50 years. I'll be 119. Oh yeah.
To all of my amazing colleagues at Riverkeeper, cheers to all of your hard work and everything you do to protect our precious Hudson River. And to all of you out there, our friends and partners, thank you for everything you do to support our work.
Thanks so much for joining us at this virtual Fisherman's Ball. We're sad that we aren't all together in person, but hopefully next year. And this is my 5th year anniversary at Riverkeeper, and I could not be more proud to be working with such a committed and passionate group of people. And this would not be possible if it weren't for all of you, our members and supporters. So thank you. And cheers to clean water.
Cheers to clean water.
And cheers to you. And cheers to you.
Cheers to you.
No, cheers to you.
Cheers to you.
Wow, what a terrific staff we have. Just unbelievable and amazing work we do when I listen to all the things that Paul did. I'm going to ad-lib for just a minute here because something was said in the that film there that really took the nerve in me that I want to talk about. The word watershed was used. And when you're thinking about giving tonight, remember, you're not just giving to the Hudson River. If you were, that would be enough. But what we're talking about here is protecting the entire watershed. Riverkeeper is truly New York's clean water advocate, and the moniker is protecting the drinking water for 9 million people. Yeah, well, that's what we're doing. It's not just the Hudson. Again, that would be enough, but it's a huge watershed that we're involved in protecting. And some of the coolest work we're doing, and my friend George Jackman, who will be in the chat room later, can talk about this, is we're removing dams on tributaries to the Hudson. So that's part of the work that we're doing. And it's a big part of the work we're doing. It's something that occupies George day in and day out. And it's a very important work. It opens up new environment, new ecological areas for forage fish and predatory fish as well as open up whole new areas of the river. And it's critical work that we're doing. All right, here we go. Back to the script. I apologize for the little aside there. And wow, back to the script here. I am pleased to ask Mark Ruffalo to take the stage here tonight to introduce our 2020 Big Fish, Rob Bilott. I'm sure no one here needs an introduction to Mark Ruffalo, A-list actor and celebrity. Everyone knows Bruce Banner, the Hulk. Mark currently stars in the HBO series I Know This Much Is True. However, Mark is also a hugely effective clean water and environmental activist and was a leader in the anti-fracking fight, which was won so effectively and finally in New York State just this year. He's also a tireless advocate for renewable energy and the fight to understand and solve climate change. Mark helped launch the Solutions Project as part of his mission to share science, business, and culture that demonstrates the feasibility of renewable energy. Mark and Rob had a very special relationship. When Mark read the 2016 New York Times Magazine article, The Lawyer Who Became DuPont's Worst Nightmare, he knew it would make a great film. So the article details Rob's 20-year legal battle against DuPont for contaminating the water in Parkersburg, West Virginia, with toxic chemicals. These are the same forever chemicals that our Hudson heroes, the Newburgh Clean Water Project, they're battling today. Mark secured the film rights. He partnered with Participant Media to produce the film Dark Waters. You've got to go see this. It's worth noting that both Mark and Participant Media were honored with the Big Fish Award in previous years, so it makes perfect sense. Mark is here to present the same award to Rob. So it's my great pleasure to welcome Mark Ruffalo to the stage.
Thank you, Steve.
Wow. I just want to say that that video that my friend John Bowermaster made, and see John Lipscomb in there is amazing, and the whole crew and team over at Riverkeeper. Thank you for the work. You guys have had a kick-ass year, and there's no doubt that this river and many of these rivers would be dead and polluted if it wasn't for the decades long commitment that you guys have to these waterways, and the communities that have risen up around and organized around your work. So thank you. It's an honor to be here tonight, coming to you digitally from the ancestral lands, the Lenape and Munsee Indian tribes in New York State. I'm in the Catskills. You know, there's really no getting used to living in the pods that we're living in, and I'm sorry we aren't able just to be together in person tonight to see each other. I mean, if we were living in Canada, we'd be lifting a glass together and maybe even air hugging, even though we'd probably have our masks on. But we're living in our own private hell in America, where science and expertise mean very little to our current White House occupant and all of his cohorts, which makes tonight that much more special. And because Rob Bilott is an expert at the science of PFAS and one of the great legal minds of the environmental movement today. Rob has rightfully made Teflon and PFAS dirty words, toxic words. It took him 20 years of fighting, mostly alone or beside the good people of Parkersburg, West Virginia, like Wilbur and Sandra Tennant, Jim Tennant, Wilbur's brother, Bucky Bailey, and Joe and Darlene Kiger, just to mention a few. These were the people that Rob was fighting on behalf of, and who Rob to this day considers very close friends of his, those who are still with us. Rob went against an entire system designed to cover up and carry toxic water for the DuPont Chemours Chemical Company, a company that has had a long and ugly track record in the USA, starting with war profiteering and brutally and violently fought unionization and even helped the Nazis during World War II. They are the bad guys for sure. And for some time, the largest and most powerful company in the USA, and this man, this beautifully humble man, and an equally beautiful group of citizens from Parkersburg, West Virginia, went against them all, not to mention the US government, the EPA, the judicial system, the DOA, the DOJ, and they beat them. All that power, all the money in the world, and they beat them and brought the biggest settlement and biggest health study ever conducted. And we have Rob Bilott and his tireless dedication to the truth and justice to thank for that. Now, I've got the honor to spend some time with a lot of time with Rob because I was playing him, and just you couldn't meet a more humble, low-key, generous man. And so it's such a important distinction for him to receive this award tonight. And he's basically changed the game on how we can fight these corporate interests that have their hands in so deep of the pockets of our politicians and even our agencies that are made to protect us. I mean, all of us know here how poorly these agencies have protected us in the past, how much money has been poured in, and how the fact that there are both responsible for protecting the environment and selling off the resources of the environment at the same time make it impossible for them to be effective. But Rob has used his training as a corporate defense attorney, a man who would normally work for companies like DuPont. His deep understanding of how corporations skirt the rules, play in the gray areas, and push the envelope to the very brink of our extinction. And he used those rules against them. And that's why he's been so effective. Today, he is he's mounting a lawsuit on behalf of every single person in this country. We all have PFAS in our blood. We've been poisoned unwittingly, unknowingly by the DuPont Corporation, and it has had significant health effects. We have seen so many people who were poisoned with PFAS being the most easily and readily harmed by the COVID pandemic. These people are also do not take any kind of vaccines well in the body. And so what we keep seeing again and again is how interconnected all of these issues are. What they're fighting in Newburgh is not only PFAS, but also racial environmental injustice. And so it is a great honor to not only know the man, to have played the man, but to be able to honor him tonight and to introduce him. So without any further ado, I want to introduce the great, humble, beautiful man that is Rob Bilott. Take it away, Rob.
Wow, thank you. Thank you so much, Mark. Thank you so much for those kind words and that incredible introduction. It's hard to follow that. I really appreciate it. And thank you to everyone affiliated with Riverkeeper, the staff, the board, the directors, all of the supporters, all of the sponsors. Yeah, this is really an incredible honor to be here tonight. I wish I was there with all of you in person, but yeah, this is such an incredible event, and I am so honored to receive this award. And what an incredible piece of art. So thank you to Bruce Larson for creating such an amazing award. Just sort of speechless when this came. So thank you. I'm really humbled to be here tonight accepting an award in connection with all of the work that's been done over so many years to uncover and reveal to the entire world this PFAS forever chemical contamination story. This is contamination on an unprecedented scale. Contamination of our air, our water, our soil, all over the planet, in New York, in West Virginia, in Ohio, everywhere across the United States, in the polar ice caps. This is contamination that is so extensive, so severe, that's gone on for so long, virtually undetected, that now virtually every person on this planet has these chemicals in their blood. Babies are being born every day with these chemicals in their blood. And all of this was covered up. All of this was kept secret for so many years here in the United States. And during our lifetimes, this is not an ancient story, something that happened back in ancient times. This was going on while we were all here, and to some degree still is continuing to this day. And it really took the effort of an incredible group of people, tremendous work and incredible sacrifice of so many people to bring this story out to the rest of the world. People who were not afraid to rise up, to stand up, to speak out. And when they saw something that wasn't working and needed to be fixed, to demand that changes happen. People like the Tennant family, Wilbur Tennant and Sandra Tennant and their daughters, who first figured something was strange happening to their cows on a West Virginia farm 20 years ago, and would not back down, would not take no for an answer, and demanded answers, demanded that we figure out what exactly was killing these cows. People like the Kigers, Joe and Darlene Kiger, who lived in the surrounding community, who once they figured out that this was not just affecting the tenants and their farm, but their entire community of some 70,000 people along the Ohio River in both West Virginia and Ohio. The Kigers stood up with their neighbors and demanded that action be taken to stop this and to reveal it to the public. The 70,000 people in that community who all banded together and gave medical information and all kinds of personal information to help confirm the science of what these chemicals do to all of us. And if the folks at my law firm, at the Taft law firm, the staff, the paralegals, the lawyers at the other firms that worked with us for so many years to take this battle on and chart really, uncharted territory in the legal world. My wife, my kids, my entire family, who was able to stand by and support these efforts that went on for almost 2 decades. To try to get this story out to the public so that people could understand how this impacts all of us. People like the incredible Nathaniel Rich, who authored that story in the New York Times Magazine back in 2016 that caught Mark's eye, and the folks at Participant, and that incredible team that Mark was able to put together with the folks at Participant Media to bring this story out through the motion picture Dark Waters in such an incredible way, to show people how this is a story that impacts all of us. It's a story of individuals and communities who find out about an environmental contamination of our drinking water and our environment, and who demand that things be changed, and who do it. And I really want to thank everyone again at the Riverkeeper, at the Riverkeepers, and with all of their supporters, all of the sponsors, everybody who's affiliated with this organization, who's helping bring awareness and inspiration to other communities, like in Newburgh, New York, and other places across the state, who are finding out these chemicals are in their water and are demanding that change happen. I'm hoping that through the work of Riverkeeper and others and the supporters here and all of you that are listening tonight, that people will understand that even one person can stand up, rise up, speak out, demand change, and no matter how big and powerful your adversary, it can happen. Things can be changed. Entire systems can change. And I'm hoping this story helps highlight how tremendously important every one of us is to making sure that's done. So thank you so much again. And I really appreciate this tremendous honor. And thank you to everyone. Thanks.
Okay, I guess that's back to me. Rob, thank you so much for your great words. As a journalist, my lead would be the last thing you said. Stand up, rise up, speak out. I like those words. I like those words a lot. Quick personal anecdote. When I asked my company, CNBC, if I could join the board of directors of Riverkeeper, they asked what they did. And I said, well, they advocate for clean water. And they said, well, that's not political. Republicans and Democrats, they agree on that, right? And so they let me join the board because there's no conflict of interest with rising up, standing up, and speaking out for cleaner water. All right, so let's see. I got to find where I am. There we are. Okay. Rob, that is an award. First of all, I loved your remarks, and the award is really richly deserved. We're grateful for your tireless efforts to bring bad actors to account and ensure our drinking water is safe. And now we'd like to take a 5-minute break. 5-minute break. Give people the chance to visit the auction and donate and other opportunities that are out there. Check out the quiz. The auction will be open through 9 p.m., so everyone will have a chance to submit the winning bid. Remember, the funds you give tonight will support Riverkeeper's amazing work for the rest of the year. Stand up, rise up, speak out, and donate as much as you can. See you back in 5. All right, there's some awesome stuff in there. It spent a little bit of time. They didn't have much time to do it, but this is going to be open till 9 o'clock, and you'll have a chance to go in there and bid many times. Bid very, very often if you can. All right, well, welcome back. Hope you're able to win some fun stuff, book an amazing vacation, adventure, or just help Riverkeeper protect the Hudson and safeguard our drinking water. Thank you to all of our partners and friends who donated these wonderful experiences and items to help Riverkeeper tonight. All right, now it's a great pleasure of mine to introduce, he's not the most famous guy we've had on here, but it's been a real pleasure of mine to join the board and get to work with Ernest. He is Ernest Tollerson, our board chair. He is incredibly wise and really helps direct the board to doing all of the right things. So it's my pleasure to introduce Ernest Tollerson, Riverkeeper's board chair, to present the Hudson Hero Award to the Newburgh Clean Water Project. Ernest.
Thanks, Steve. Tonight, Riverkeeper has the high honor and privilege to present the 2020 Hudson Hero Award to a community-based organization on the front lines of decontaminating and restoring a critical source of clean drinking water for a waterfront city of nearly 30,000 people. In the wake of the contamination of one of Newburgh's primary sources of drinking water by the military side of Stewart Airport, local residents created Newburgh Clean Water Project. Since its founding in 2017, the citizen-led organization has been hard at work and dedicated to holding the U.S. Department of Defense accountable for polluting Lake Washington, Newburgh's primary source of drinking water. In this case, the culprit turned out to be the Air National Guard's use of a firefighting foam that contained a toxic stew of PFAS chemicals, often referred to as forever chemicals, due to their persistence and toxicity. The use of the PFAS class of chemicals by the private sector and the US military around the nation has done great damage to human health and ecosystems that all living things depend upon. With the landmark lawsuit by Rob Bilott and the release of the 2019 movie Dark Waters, more Americans are beginning to pay attention and seek cleanups and damages. With all the tools at their disposal, research, advocacy, community education engagement, and most important, playing David to the US military's Goliath, Newburgh Clean Water Project is pressing the US Secretary of Defense to prioritize removing the PFAS toxins from Lake Washington. Newburgh Clean Water Project is also pressing the US military to set rigorous standards and goals for Pentagon cleanup. To that end, Newburgh Clean Water Project pressed the Air National Guard to give the Newburgh community and its allies seats on a restoration advisory committee that will evaluate the efficacy of the U.S. military's plan for restoring Newburgh source waters. Working with a coalition of partners and allies, Newburgh Clean Water Project has enlisted the help of U.S. Senators Schumer and Gillibrand to help the community navigate the federal bureaucracy. Newburgh Clean Water Project is not interested in half measures. It will oppose efforts to resume drinking water from Lake Washington until the cleanup is successful and the threat of ingesting toxins is de minimis. Merely being able to filter Lake Washington water is simply not going to be enough. In addition to its goal of making Lake Washington water drinkable again, Newburgh Clean Water Project, the city of Newburgh, and Riverkeeper are looking out over the horizon. Together, they're focused on developing watershed protection standards that have safeguarded New York City's drinking water sources and the vast Cat-Dell system since the 90s, a landmark deal Riverkeeper helped broker. So look for Newburgh Clean Water Project to promote land conservation and other watershed tools to protect the city's secondary source of drinking water, Browns Pond. Tonight's Hudson Hero Award is the tip of Riverkeeper's hat for what the Newburgh Clean Water Project has accomplished so far. This award is also a down payment on the clean water outcomes Newburgh Clean Water Project hopes to achieve in the next 5 to 10 years. To accept Riverkeeper's Hudson Hero Award, please join me in welcoming Deborah Brown. Deborah will accept the award on behalf of her fellow Project Steering Committee members, Jen Ralston, Tamsin Hollow, and Mary Wagner, as well as on behalf of former Steering Committee members, Peter Smith, Oprah Wolf, Marcel Barrick, Gabrielle Burton-Hill, and Lauren Bird. And once again, congratulations to the Newburgh Clean Water Project.
Thank you, Ernest, and thank you, Riverkeeper, for this award. My name is Deborah Brown, and I'm a founding member of the Newburgh Clean Water Project, and I am so honored to accept this award on behalf of the entire group. And the group, the Newburgh Clean Water Project, is a grassroots group of Newburgh residents who are determined to get clean water, dignity, and justice for our community. We work to inform and engage with our fellow community members, and we welcome everyone who wants to do something to help get clean water and make our community healthy and safe. When our PFAS contamination situation first came to light, Riverkeeper was there for us in a big way, helping us to do very effective and important work toward getting clean water for this community. And Riverkeeper is still helping us. On behalf of the Newburgh Clean Water Project and our entire community, thank you, Riverkeeper, for sticking with us. We could not do this without you.
Thank you to this community, writ large, for the tremendous support that you provide. We have a very important installation for our nation's defense in this community, and having a military installation isn't a right, it's a privilege.
The fact that people knew in advance that they were contaminating our waterways, that's criminal. And people need to be held accountable. Humans have been affected by this, greatly affected.
Well, the Department of Defense did the least they could do. I feel horrible about what's going on with the earth that I'm going to leave my grandchildren and my children.
I want to know why our federal government, why the EPA, why the state government continues to allow companies to use chemicals that are killing their constituents, their people.
People of color and people of low socioeconomic status, as well as indigenous communities, do not matter to them as long as they're making a profit or they are continuing the American game, I guess you could say, of continued colonialization and imperialistic wars. So.
My name is Deborah Brown. I'm one of the people who started the Newburgh Clean Water Project. And I started it because it needed to be done.
I'm grateful that there's a group of people who are championing this, and I'm grateful to participate in whatever manner I can.
Newburgh Clean Water Project is bringing about an awareness to the residents of the city of Newburgh and to the neighboring towns. They've partnered with Passaic Creek folks, the Riverkeepers. They've partnered with a number of Clearwater, a number of organizations that are very, very much interested in conservation of our environment, particularly our water source.
And it's a beautiful thing to fight something that you need, that you care about. It's hard work. Everybody has a very busy life, and it's hard to do something extra. And it's very important. And it's very important, again, so we all know that we're taking responsibility for our own lives and for those we care about. And so that our elected officials know that they're not in a vacuum and that people are actually taking time out of their very busy and very pressured lives to attend to this, and that, you know, there is accountability.
So Anthony Grice, Councilman at Large for the City of Newburgh, and I just want to say a really quick thank you to Riverkeeper, and also a really quick thank you to Newburgh Clean Water Project. The advocacy that you bring to the City of Newburgh and nationwide has gone recognized, and it should be applauded by everyone.
Thank you, Riverkeepers, for supporting the Grenadier families.
Thank you, Riverkeeper, for helping Newburgh's community. Thank you.
Thank you, Riverkeepers, and thanks for helping Newburgh.
Thank you, Riverkeeper. I'm Jeannie Polycarp with the Newburgh Clean Water Project, and I have lived in Newburgh practically my whole life. I'd like to start by saying a massive thank you to Riverkeeper. We definitely have very similar goals of cleaning the Hudson River and cleaning our water sources. They go absolutely hand in hand. Thank you again, Riverkeeper.
Welcome back. Well, that was a great video here. All right, now I don't know if this is my favorite part of the night because I got to introduce Mark Ruffalo. I got to do all kinds of fun things here tonight. But this bit we have coming up right now is definitely one of my favorites because we get to chat with the staff of the and do these breakout rooms here. Congratulations once again to the Newburgh Clean Water Project for their amazing work. I forgot to say that. So we're going to open up these issue-based chat rooms. Each room is anchored by Riverkeeper staff and special guests as well. Everyone is invited to visit one or more rooms. Please note that only 12 can be on screen at a time in the breakout rooms, but you can still join if there's 12 people there already, and you can listen as part of the audience and participate with the chat function. So just click on the link to the room you want in the topic breakout tab on the left menu, and you can join a room. I think you can actually move around between rooms if you like as well. You can visit multiple rooms, so please say hi to John Lipscomb and listen to his River Tales. Visit George Jackman to chat about fish, or pop in to say hi and ask Rob Bilott questions about forever chemicals. And there's going to be lots of other interesting things going on. The auction is still open, so you still have opportunity to check on your bids and make sure no one has outbid you on that special item or trip that you wanted. So go check that out. And then just a little tease for later on, we'll have more music from Scofield and Grenadier as well, and a few other things coming up. So join us back after the chat rooms as well. See you in a little bit. Okay. All right.
Hi, I'm John Scofield.
I'm Larry Grenadier. I've always lived by the Hudson ever since moving to New York 20 years ago. And either in New York City or up here in Kingston, New York, it's always been close by and a source of place to go to get clarity of mind and to enjoy the environment around it. And always appreciated it. And so thankful for Riverkeeper for continuing to watch over it and to make sure that it's protected for years to come.
I also lived near the Hudson River, right by the Hudson River in Manhattan for many years, and now I live in the Hudson River Valley. And we need the river, and we need to protect this important national treasure, the Hudson River.
Wow. Wow. So amazing. Well, I'm here to wrap it all up, folks, and stay to the end of my remarks because I have a special announcement at the very, very end of my remarks here. But first, just so many people to thank, and I'm going to assume you're standing and applauding at home this great, great night we have, even though it was virtual. We were all together for the same cause. And we have to thank Mark Ruffalo. Yeah, woo, okay. Rob Bilott, John Scofield, Larry Grenadier, Paul Gallay. It's okay. I'm hearing myself in my ear for the moment here. For what it's worth, I'm going to take that out and just finish up otherwise very quickly. Okay. Let's see what else I have to say here. We want to thank all of you for joining this evening. Now, the special announcement I told you I was going to have. We are delighted to say that thanks to the wonderful work of that you have done, your generosity this evening, we have raised more than $100,000 between the auction and donations, blowing away our goal. And it's all going to go to work to protect and restore the Hudson River and safeguard drinking water for New Yorkers. Thank you for your generosity. The auction, though, you can still do more, and you should do more. The auction will be open until 9 p.m. And you can put those last-minute bids in. I'm going to go check it out. I really didn't have time. Thanks again. And we're going to see you in May. We're going to all be together. So wear your masks and do the best you can and get by. See you soon. Thanks.